Oh, hello. Hello, you hear the word come out. Hello? You hear the word come out of my face hole? Hello? The devil touching my camera. Oh, jack up. Why you do that, Adabri? Okay, well, we're gonna live in the pivot. Hi, everybody. I'm Barry from the internet, and today is the 4th of April, 2025, the year of our Lord. The show is brought to us by the creator of the universe, God, Yahweh, our Elohim, and RefugeMedical.com, and the wonderful people over on Patreon. Link is in the description for all of the above. What's up, Iridium Group? Shalom, bro. It's a little late in the day, but we do the best we can with what we got where we're at. Just a very quick mention. At sundown, the store will be closing at RefugeMedical.com for 24 hours to observe the Shabbat. But these are back, and I'm not shilling. I'm informing. These are back. This is travel fact. It's for your vehicle, and they have a bunch of promos, Mother's Day promo going on, and the whole nine. So go hit the website. Okay, cool. Bear Independent bonus intel. This is emailed from y'all to me, intel@bearindependent.com. Intel@bearindependent.com. We caught a storm on the 30th of March. It was a fast-moving pop-up storm line with straight-line winds and microbursts. We soaked up a significant bit of tree damage. Not on the level that Grindstone often deals with. Trees damage in our area means power outages. We lost power to 10 out of our 40 lift stations. So this is water treatment, sewage. Okay, yep. Why is this relevant? I don't know where you live, but where I live, there's a significant threat of tornadic activity right now. Right now. There has been for the last 36 hours, and there's going to be for another 48 hours. And are there benefits to living in Oklahoma? Yes. One of those benefits is meeting God the same way Elijah did, being taken away in a whirlwind. So, yes, we'll be done. We'll see. We'll see. I don't really want to go out like that, but you don't get to argue with the creator of the universe. Now I'm saying, I'm saying. We lost power to 10 out of 40 lift stations. I got called into work and spent hours running large generators around pumping stations down to avoid unauthorized discharge of sewage. Ew. One problem, so many trees were down that city utilities were so busy trying to clear debris that one of the lift stations would not be reached in time. If the storm had been any stronger or moved any slower, aka more time on target, we'd have had a significant unauthorized outflow into area waterways. Outflow of poopy. The poopy would be in the water. Have water plants and have wastewater mitigation plans. 100%. I was just listening to, I posted on Patreon earlier today, the talk that I gave at Self-Reliance Festival last fall. You can find it. It's public on this channel. It's called Surviving the Communist Onslaught in the Countryside. Just put in the search bar, Surviving the Communist Onslaught, and you'll find it. And one of the things I hit on there is logistics, and water and where you're going to poo is a big deal. It's a huge deal. Everybody in the prepper sphere is like, I got my AR-15. I like a 12 gauge with 2 3/4 inch double out buckshot, 9 of them 38 caliber pellets. All right, dude, where are you going to take a shit? Well, I'm not really sure. Okay, cool. You are going to die of disease. I talked about in that talk, two-thirds of over the last 5,000 years, this has been studied. Causation of casualties in warfare. 2/3 are our fault. 1/3 is logistics. The other 1/3 is disease. And 1/3 is the enemy. Okay. So how do we mitigate the enemy? Well, we could start with don't be where they are. Cool. And then logistics and disease, that's on me, homie. So having water to drink is pretty important. Having a way to make clean water is pretty important. Having a place where you can go poopy is pretty important. It's like, I would submit to you, you're going to have to drink water and poop more than you're going to have to shoot people. I would also submit to you that if you want to shoot people when the world ends, like maybe you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Is a guy, is the Messiah. You should talk to him and fix your heart condition, because wanting to go into the end of the world as we know it, shooting people like Yosemite Sam, probably not a good idea. I gotta fix this cord real quick. I have to. That's better. Okay, there we go. Dysentery, the national bird of India, says Striker Cade. Bear, will you be doing a video for Patreon on water filtration? It was in the Q&A post. Yeah, Dana, I saw it. I shot 6 Patreon videos this morning. Hold on, I got to take my hoodie off. In honor of Liberation Day +2. What does my shirt say? Same shirt I had on for the Patreon live stream last night. Because I live on a homestead. And, if a shirt doesn't have turkey shit on it, is it really dirty? No, it's not really dirty. For those who are playing along in the home game, maybe on audio, my shirt says taxes are gay. And I stand by that. Coffee. Not gay. This coffee is not gay. Very heterosexual coffee. It's delicious. Believe it. More from the National Intel. Next, I wanted to bring some light to the fact that the hospitals in Virginia are not taking the potential ISIS attacks seriously. I work at a hospital in Virginia. The American Hospital Association made it known that there was a threat of a terrorist attack on hospitals in mid-tier cities across the Estados Unidos. If carried out, the attack would involve a VBED, vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, followed by an armed attack with hostages taken. This information came from a post on X from Sarah Adams and an account called Command 11. Stand by. First of all, that's not the entirety of the details. One of the other alleged details is that the attackers who begin the attack with the detonation of a VBED and then attack said hospitals would be dressed as first responders, law enforcement, EMS, and fire, so that when the good guys show up, being able to identify friend from foe would be very difficult, and also being dressed like first responders would allow the bad guys to better terrorize the folks of whom they are terrorizing, because we have a natural hesitancy as Americans to not get involved when the cops or the firemen are doing their thing. Who wants to point a gun at a cop as he's running through your hospital? And in that moment of hesitancy, yeah, bad things can happen. So that's one of the other details. Now that it begs the question, is Sarah Adams and Command 11, are they reliable sources on this? I don't know. Sarah is pretty tight with Sean Ryan. She does the weekly intel email brief that goes out with Sean Ryan. And it's the jury's out with me and Sean Ryan. Controlled opposition, maybe. I will say, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I find it really interesting that people who are essentially nobody, but worked for the agency, get out and they start some kind of media program, podcast, YouTube channel, whatever it might be. And all of a sudden, these people that we've never heard of before in a highly competitive space that are affiliated with the agency are as big as Joe Rogan now? What? And listen, Sean is better at what he does than I am. This facts. Better production quality, better interviewer, facts. I've never been on an ayahuasca trip myself personally. So I don't know if LSD counts, but that was 2 decades ago. So maybe it's worn off. I'm not as good as what I do as Sean is, but I've been doing this for 7 years. And homies, my shit has never blown up like that. I don't have a bajillion followers. I don't have people paying to come on my show. It don't be like that. So, and this isn't just Sean. Again, jury's out on Sean. Also, I've never met the guy. We've never breathed the same air. We've never hung out in the same room. So I reserve the right to change my mind at any moment. But as of right now, jury's out. But there's a lot of others. I mean, what's his face? The guy that runs the Presidential Daily Brief, Mike something, former CIA, if that's his real name. Mike Baker, really interesting cat, former agency. Brian Dean Wright at the Wright Report, former agency cat. Super interesting. Just all these dudes and dudettes that used to be agency. And don't worry. MK Ultra and all that, they totally stopped doing that. That was all mainstream media. There's no way that they would be affecting alternative media like X and podcast platforms and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. There's no way they would ever have controlled opposition and people controlling the narratives on all these other air quote alternative platforms. They're too stupid for that. Sure. Facebook used to be called LifeLog. And the day that the CIA shut down its LifeLog program, a guy named Mark Zuckerberg, a college student, the day after started Facebook. The exact same program, different logo. And he ran it out of his college dormitory on a single server that he assembled himself. And even as millions of people signed up and gave away all of their imagery and their personal data and their back-end analytics and their digital exhaust, gave it away for free on Facebook. Millions of people a day signing up. Some random college kid on a server he built himself. His server never crashed. Those things absolutely can't be connected, though. But I digress. Delicious coffee. So is Sarah Adams and Command 11, are they reliable sources? I don't know. It's one of those things like, certainly something to be aware of. Am I quaking in my boots waiting for the ISIS VBET attack on hospitals? No. Do I hang out at hospitals? No. Nope, I don't. Last time I was in a hospital was when my youngest daughter was born. That was over a year ago. Praise Yah. Does that mean that it's not possible? Oh, it's certainly possible. And in fact, if that's what they're planning to do, there's a pretty good plan. Although now that the plan's out there, do you think they might have pivoted? Maybe, they know of plan A. Let's go to plan B now. We're, same guys. It's like a football game. The same team, different play on the field. But they've been doing a lot of passing. They're going to run now. Nope, they're still passing. Okay, well, they're still passing, so we need to be set up for a pass. Nope, they're running now. Nope, they're going to go for a touchdown. Nah, just kick it for a point. Okay, the same team, same game, just different plays. So just because you think you know what the next play is going to be doesn't mean that that's the play that they're going to run. Continuing, I have confirmed that the Virginia Fusion Center sent out a memo to my hospital in regards to their investigation of this threat. They work with state police and are calling their findings, quote, uncorroborated. That means nothing. I know. KNOW, know that in Chicago, there's a bunch of Middle Eastern dudes, brown dudes with Ryder rented trucks that are doing things that the FBI should be really concerned about. Well, Barry, you should tell the FBI. I did. Well, how come they didn't do anything? Because they're the FBI. We were aware of the suspect. Sound familiar? And maybe they did do something about it. In which case, good for them. And we never know as the constituents how close we come to destruction. Sometimes digression is the point. What's up, Robin? Shalom, sister. Also, dude, there's like nine Middle Eastern dudes in the Ouachita National Forest near where I am. They're just out there with AKs, just doing their shit, man. They're just out there getting it on. So, is the FBI aware of them? Yep. Are they doing anything about it? Nope. Does it matter? Maybe. Does that mean it's uncorroborated? Here's my point. Uncorroborated. Bear this assessment that there's brown dudes going Durka jihad in Chicago with box trucks. That's uncorroborated. Sure, it doesn't make it any less real. You see my point? Nostradamus, he was on our radar. How about reading the damn radar then? Precisely. TJ might have a little booze in his coffee. Negative, Rick S. How dare you say that? I'm well caffeinated, sir. I don't drink before I live stream unless it's the evenings, and it's not. It's 2 p.m. local time. So I'm a little punchy because I really don't want to get hit by a tornado. We'll see. Those yachts will be done. Joe Baggy. Pro tip, don't use a Flowbee to trim your junk. Okay. Joe, tell us more. Tell us more. Which I'm curious, did you have assistance? Because who was holding the magnifying glass? That's what I need to know. The hospital sent a BS notice to all of its staff last week through an email. It was roughly 3 lousy, vague lines and a small text stating that there were, quote, rumors of a threat to hospitals, end quote. This information is easily drowned out by a plethora of other memos that were included in the email. A half-truth is still a lie. Also, nobody reads those emails. Actually, nobody. Everyone I've asked has no clue what I'm talking about. I understand that they're trying to keep the panic down. However, the worst part about it is that there are no viable precautions being taken. If they're not going to take the necessary precautions to take care of their patients and staff, then they should at least try to get this information in front of people a bit better. But they are not. That's all. There hasn't been another word said about this to my knowledge. If you work in a hospital, please be aware of your surroundings. Our border was open for 4 years, and we now have roughly 1,500 confirmed terrorists in the U.S. It's completely asinine to ignore this threat. 1,500 is a low number. The FBI's own statistics, to the extent that they can be trusted, at the end of the Biden administration, there were 4,000 known terror cells in the United States of America. And then Sarah Adams has postulated there's at least another 1,000 military-age males who have infiltrated the country. If there's 4 people per cell, that's 16,000 plus 1 is 17,000. That's right there, not including Tren de Aragua and MS-13, Sinaloa cartel, and all the old school players, man, the mafia, organized crime, et cetera, et cetera. I'd say 20 to 50,000. Plus, you got the Chinese nationals. We know that they were infiltrating from the 51st state across the imaginary line in the snow. You've got all kinds of South American bad actors that have been coming in. We know that Spetsnaz, Russian Special Forces, has been identified at the border, as has Hezbollah and the IRGC, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, training Mexican cartels, as well as just irregulars on the border. Yeah, but listen, Trump got elected again. He's the 47th president now. Everything's fine. There's no reason. Hold on. I got it. It's right here. Here it is. I found it. Everything's super good. There's nothing to be concerned about. We built a big, beautiful wall. No one's coming across. Border interactions are down 99%. Didn't need a new law. Just needed a new president. There's no problems, no wars except for Iran. We don't talk about Iran. We've dropped $300 million worth of bombs on Iran while we're broke. In the last 2 weeks, we've got 6, maybe 8 B-2 Spirit bombers. Diego Garcia, they're flying a long ways, folks. We're going to destroy the country. It's no big deal. Don't worry. It's not for us. It's our greatest ally. They needed a little help. Bibi, he rang me up. He said, hey, Don, I was wondering, could we maybe make Iran into a glass desert? And I said, of course, Bibi, I love you. You gave me $230 million, million with an M, $1 million, 230 of them for my campaign, which is why I got reelected, because we're going to make America great again by passing anti-Semitic executive orders that infringe your First Amendment rights. That's why Bobby said the greatest pandemic in the world right now is anti-Semitism. Don't worry, your kid is drinking crushed up bugs in his Gatorade. Not a problem. But don't you dare be upset about the Jews. Can't do it. Won't do it. There's 50,000 terrorists here. Tom Homan's going to get them. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. And oh, your 401k, it's trash. It's gone. $10 trillion have been gone from the economy just like that. But it's fine, folks. The markets are gonna boom. The markets are gonna boom. You guys see that? You have lost it, dude. You're right, old combat vet. I have. Welcome to the party, homie. Unsubscribe button's right there next to the subscribe button. I'm pretty sure you can find it. I don't like it here anymore. Peace. Shalom. Beat feet, skedaddle. Get out of here. Have a blessed day. Do you see that comment? The markets are gonna boom. Wait, what does that mean? Oh, we've got another $6 trillion invested in the economy. Listen, I like the idea of Trump way more than I like the idea of Biden and Kamala. Way more. But we got to call a spade a spade. All right? We just have to call a spade a spade. Investing where in the economy and these accusations of fascism, which is the merger of the state and the means of production, the United States is going to regain control of the Panama Canal. Oopsie, just kidding. BlackRock is going to regain control of the Panama Canal. Hold on. Is that a tacit confession that BlackRock owns the United States? Or are we using the U.S. dollar and the U.S. military to secure an investment for BlackRock in Panama? Now, make no mistake. United States military has been used to enrich World Globo Corps for decades. Smedley Butler, man, right? This has been going on for a long time. But do they have to be so on the nose about it? I thought we were going to make America great again. Like, I know, shame on me. I believed a politician while his mouth was moving. But I thought we were going to make America great again. I thought we were going to make America great again. Turns out, no. We're just going to have a continuation of what we already had, rebranded, different label. So same old cereal in a new box. And that's really annoying to me. Because myself personally, I got a little excited about heads on pikes. I thought that'd be cool. You know, we're going to drain the swamp. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it, man. I know dewatering operations. Let's get some pumps. We need some pylons. What do they call them things? You smash them into the ground. They got a giant track hoe with a big hammer thing on it. And you put it into the ground. It's like sheets of steel. You know what I'm talking about. Those things. The swamp is too deep. Then douse it in diesel fuel and throw a match at it and turn around and slowly walk away on camera and look like a cool guy. Okay? Pile driver. Thank you, Savage Lee. You know, and then what we have going on economically. Whew, bro, unimpressed economically. Next, national intel. If posted, don't share my name or company info. Well, this comes from Jimmy Smith. He works for XYZ Globo Corp. Oh, shit. Sorry, Jimmy. This comes after most of our meetings with the NIH were abruptly canceled last month, including in person in DC. Many emails to our NIH contacts have either returned with out-of-office messages or gone unanswered. Texts via personal phones and social media have confirmed the job losses. Whole programs and departments shut down. Not sure to what extent they are interconnected with the NIH, but our pharma partners are nervous as heck and have paused several programs. Grants already approved last year that funded research and activities by nonprofit orgs are in weird limbo right now, not being paid out, but no official notice that they are canceled. A lot of nonprofits who depend on this funding to operate are letting people go. How does this affect everyday people? Millions of dollars go to assist families in need every year, whether it's helping them with critical medical equipment or transportation to a doctor's visit. The cuts at the National Institutes of Health are cutting out more than the wasteful spending that has taxpayers rightfully furious. These programs help the people who needed it the most, the uninsured and the underserved. My question now is, will neighbors step up to help their neighbors in need? One would hope that neighbors would step up to help their neighbors in need. See my earlier comments about the economy. We need to have the ability to step up. When the government has centralized Tzedakah, good works charity, under the banner of government through the mechanism of taxing its constituents, there's not enough left over for the constituents in many cases to be a blessing to their neighbor, because they can barely bless themselves. If they give us this day our daily bread. Well, if I can't afford my daily bread, I certainly can't afford to give my neighbor any daily bread, right? So that's part of the mechanism there as well. The other thing I'll say is, if the good programs are so entangled with the bad programs, that's not necessarily Doge's fault. Although has Doge made mistakes? Sure. You paint with a big enough paintbrush, you're gonna cover up some things with paint that you shouldn't have, right? Surgical precision may be required, probably is required in a lot of cases, with the nuanced context of all these different alphabet soup agencies. But the problem is, things have gotten so bad with so many of the alphabet soup agencies that it's not tack hammer time anymore. It's sledgehammer, it's wrecking ball, it's demolitions, it's shaped charges, it's cut the girders. We're dropping this sucker. So if your good works are enmeshed with and therefore indistinguishable from your bad works, is that Doge's fault or the administration at the NIH? And do we have the luxury of caring? Now, we should love our neighbor as ourselves. Somebody needs a ride to the doctor's office, give them one. If you have the capacity to help, you should. You should help. We are our brother's keeper. We are supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves. Even so much that it hurts. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But what union does the light have with the darkness? Is it the government's job to be the mechanism for charity? No, it's not. Should have never happened in the first place. And if the administrators at the NIH effed around so hard that they're now finding out, is that my fault? Do we have the capacity to care at this point, when most people are having to figure out, do I pay rent / mortgage this month or buy groceries? Can only do one of these two things. Which one should it be? And one could argue that's intentional. And if we make that argument that that's intentional, that we didn't arrive here by accident, this has all been intentional, especially since COVID, Operation Warp Speed, anyone, especially since COVID, the acceleration of the destruction of the middle class and relocating that wealth from the middle class to the upper class, the control of the many by the few, has absolutely, from a financial standpoint, been happening since 2019. And if it's all intentional, for those who are willing to have a nuanced conversation, if it's all intentional, what does that say about who's currently in power in the White House now? And man, that's a bad look. That's a bad look. And maybe, and I'm willing to admit this, maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't understand. There probably is a whole bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't understand. But if you're supposed to have the most transparent presidency in history, maybe giving some people some clues would be great. Instead of have Dan Bongino tweeting, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. Okay, and I understand operational security. I get it. But the dollar is worthless. The economy is tumbling. People can't afford basic, and I mean like good, hardworking people. And I don't mean people on handouts. None of that. Good, hardworking Americans can't afford to exist. But that's okay, because we've now got 54% reciprocal tariffs on China. So that's not going to hurt anything. From MarketWatch.com, Jamie Dimon finally has his hurricane. JP Morgan's economics team has just raised their recession probability to 60% following the aggressive tariff stance announced by the U.S. President Donald Trump. I will repeat my statement from yesterday. I think I am in support of tariffs in theory, as long as immediately we get rid of the IRS, because people cannot pay a 50% higher cost of living in some cases while still having 30, 50, 70% of their revenue being taken from them at the point of the gun by the federal government. And when those tariffs, those duties, when they come in, they're not going into my pocket or your pocket. They're going into the Federal Reserve, or the Treasury Department. Okay, what's up, Red? So we're still paying into the system, while the system is also being paid in from these duties, these tariffs that are being levied against importers and manufacturers elsewhere. But see, Iron Wolf, then Buy American. I operate a company in the United States of America that manufactures in America. Where does the steel come from? Where does the cloth come from? Where do all these building blocks, the commodities, come from? The answer is not here. Find me somewhere where you can buy a set of American-made trauma shears. The answer is you can't. And the reason you can't is because the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, says it has to have this particular coating on it in order to be sold in the United States of America. But the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, says it's illegal to manufacture that substance in the United States of America and apply it. So you can't make trauma shears in the United States of America. You can make the plastic and the steel after paying tariffs on the importing of the raw commodities to then produce the product and then put it on a ship and send it to one of three places: China, India, or Pakistan, which are the only three places in the world that make that coating and apply it to surgical medical devices in order to get FDA approval. Because if you sell something, a medical device that's not approved by the FDA, they will then shut your business down. So you can send it over there on a ship, wait 90 to 120 days, then turn around and have it sent back here, where you then pay tariffs on it again. And then boom, 6 months later, you have your made in America trauma shears. And that's just one component. One component. Nobody makes anything in America anymore. There are no raw commodities here. There's no manufacturing base here. We're not going to undo NAFTA that fast because the president signed an executive directive that's it. We buy American now. What do you buy in America? You can't get all the things that it takes to support modern life in America anymore because they've been outsourcing it all around the globe for the last 30 years. And as somebody who's been in American manufacturing since before it was cool, it's a huge logistical headache. And it will, even for American manufacturing, the inputs come from all over the globe. If we take the raw commodities and produce and assemble things with those here, we still had to bring the raw commodities in because nobody produces them here anymore. And it's going to take time to spin up production of those things here. And capital is the most expensive as it's ever been right now. So where are you going to get the money in this shitty economy to invest in manufacturing to bring the manufacturing back? Best of luck. Best of luck. So it creates incredible constraints upon business because the president can say, hey, here's what we're dealing with now. But I've still got to fit. So I have an executive directive from the president that says, that's it, tariffs and buy American. Okay. But the EPA and the FDA still exist. And if I don't play by the FDA's rules, I go out of business, regardless of what the president said. But as a result of what the president said, now my inputs and everybody else's inputs go up 10 to 54%. Not that I want to buy things from outside the United States of America, but they're not here to buy inside of the United States of America. Nobody makes them here. And the capitalization doesn't exist to develop the infrastructure to make it here because money is the most expensive as it's ever been. The US dollar is at its lowest point ever. And so it's easy to say, well, you should just make it here. No shit. Been trying to make it here for 5 years. 5 years. And what we can make here, we do make here. We make this here. That's made here. But you know what I don't have? I don't have a cloth loom. I don't make the fabric here. I'd love to make the fabric here, but I can't afford $120,000 for the loom, the one loom. And you need about a half a dozen of them. Oh, we'll just go get $1 million. Okay, sure. That's a great idea. I'll get right on that. So it's much easier to say than it is to do. Just buy American. I do buy American as much as I can. I support Origin and Born Primitive. I'm literally wearing my Covert Threads socks right now. They are on my feet right now. I support American companies and American small businesses to the best of my ability, and I tell you guys to do the same. But all the things that it takes to make a life, America does not produce. That's the problem. And we've been not producing it for 3 or 4 or more decades. And it's not going to come back overnight because the president said so, especially when we have no tax relief and we still have a worthless US dollar. And now we have to pay tariffs on top of it. All the while, hoping for the absolute best for this country, because I don't want it to burn to the ground, because I have children and a wife whom I love and I am required to leave an inheritance to, and wanting to trust the current politician in power, but deeds not words. You shall know them by their fruits. And I'm seeing a shit ton of words without a whole lot of fruit. So am I a little frustrated about that? Yeah. Can you tell? Yeah, I am. I'm a little frustrated about it. Because this economy has sucked since 2019. We've been living off cash reserves as a company for the last 6 months, as has everybody else. And all the other small business people are afraid to talk about it. Nobody wants to admit publicly just how bad off they are. But I know a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people in the tactical space, the training space, the apparel space, the manufacturing space. We have connections all throughout this network. They're all doing terribly. Terribly. There's one name brand that you would know if I was to say it to you. They have 2 people on staff. They haven't had a significant order since Q2 2024. That's a year ago. Okay. So my small business is doing terrible. Action Jackson, I'm sorry to hear that. That's part of the benefit of the Bear Nation, that we can lift each other up, engage with one another, help each other, spend what little money we have in meaningful ways. It's better to feed a family than it is to feed a Globo Corp. It's better to give it to the hardware store in town than it is to go over to Home Depot. It's better to pay $1 more and go get it over here than it is to get it from Amazon. Keep that money local in the economy as much as possible, or the government will have no option but for the government to be the mechanism for charity, because that's where all the money is. And it's not supposed to be that way. And that's part of my frustration, is if we're going to call this a liberation day, I don't feel very liberated. I see the same assholes doing the same. We spent more in Q1 2025 as a government than we did $60 billion more Q1 2025 than we did last year under Biden. But we got Doge, and we're in there, and we're undoing it, and we're draining the swamp, and no more foreign aid to anybody except Israel. Sure. You know, all the Republicans are all on board with MAGA, except when it's time to actually vote. And what do? Same bullshit, different label. And it's really frustrating, because I don't want these jerks to have a stranglehold on us. They're not supposed to have a stranglehold on us. Bear independent means independent of the broken, fragile system. And it's just getting harder and harder and harder to properly parse that line. And what I hate about it, honestly, is there are 47 families that are dependent upon my companies. They have their kids to feed, their bills to pay, their inheritance that cannot be diminished, their dreams, their goals, their ambitions. And I can't stand looking these people in the eyeball and saying, hey, I'm sorry, but I've got to let you go. We just can't. We don't have the revenue. And this isn't, oh, woe is me. This is business. But that's the part of business I hate. And for somebody who's supposed to be anti-war and pro-economy, it sure seems the opposite from what we were told. And that pisses me off because I pulled the lever for that guy and he's not doing what he said he was going to do. And everybody keeps saying, well, be patient. Just be patient. The American small businessman or businesswoman cannot hold on any longer. There's no more patient to be. And that's the part. That's the part that it's just incredibly difficult to stomach. And that's the real economic talk. That's the real economic talk. 60% chance of recession. Thanks, Jamie Dimon. No shit. We know. We've been in an undeclared recession since 2019. My wife and I ran a dog boarding business, and we are done after 5 years, mostly to concentrate on U.S. time and prep more and get us time and prep more to get the homestead in order. Now I work a 9 to 5 at a farm supply warehouse. Yep. And good for you for the pivot, man. So yeah, Jamie Dimon says 60% chance of recession. Well, I guess it depends on how we're declaring recession because we've been in one for the last 5 or 6 years. And it's just frustrating to pretend that we're not there because we are. I don't know about you on that side of the camera. We are on this side. And I am doing all the things that I know how to do. I am maneuvering as hard as I possibly know how to maneuver. And the entrepreneurship community is like, rah, 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 cheerleader stuff. Let's do it. Let's crush it. And it's like, can we all just stop pretending for a minute and just deal in facts? The facts are this economic environment sucks shit. It's terrible. Let Yah be Yah. Now, I agree, Nick. I agree 100% with that. The Father feeds the birds, but he doesn't put the worms in the nest. And it's our job to go get the worms. The rabbi who came from Israel to come talk to me, bless me, he said, listen, the manna still falls from the sky. It's up to us how close we get to it. And I agree with that statement. Both are indications of move, maneuver, do. And we are. We are moving, we are maneuvering, we are doing. But I just wish we could all be honest about it instead of having to be political sycophants and sing the praises of a guy who said a whole bunch of shit and hasn't done a whole bunch of shit in the meanwhile. And the shit that he has done, in many cases, unimpressive. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Fix the money, fix the economy. I don't give a shit about Iran. I don't care about B2 Spirits and Diego Garcia. I don't care about the potential peace in Ukraine. I don't give a shit, big picture, macro, about any of that. Fix the money, fix the economy ASAP, or it won't matter. Or it just won't matter. I ain't getting on the bus. I'm not getting in the bread line. I won't do any of that. So, blah, 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 blah. RT, third parties trying to derail U.S.-Russia talks, according to a Putin envoy. Don't care. Just said that. Also from RT, China hits back at U.S. with 34% import tariffs. China will impose a 34% tariff on all imports from the U.S. starting 10 April, the country's finance ministry announced on Friday. That's today. The decision follows U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement of a 34% levy on Chinese goods and the latest escalation of a tariff war. Beijing's announcement comes after the Ministry of Commerce condemned the U.S. tariffs, denouncing them as unilateral bullying. I also, to be clear, don't really care what China's opinion is on this, and everything that China does is toting the narrative line and misinformation, disinformation. So, savagely, Doge is saving so much money for Israel. Yeah, I know. And even that's a conversation that's pissing people off right now. It's a real hot one. There's like, are you anti-Semite? I never said I like Jews. I never said I got anything against the Jews, but their nation state is a giant pile of dog shit, a lot like my nation state, which is a giant pile of dog shit. And our two nation states are colluding to do dog shit stuff that we are paying for, and I'm not in support of that. Damn, bro, why are we giving away our inheritance? Yeah, I know. And another thing that, you know what, screw it. We're just going to call it Real Talk Friday today. Another thing that really annoys me is the feigning of religiosity amongst the current cabinet. Well, they're all a bunch of good Christians. Then act like it. Why are you diminishing my inheritance? Why are we engaged in usury? Why are you lying to me? Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not steal. Okay. Why? Or are you a Christian in name only? Behold, I come swiftly to reward each man according to his works. What you do. Well, that sounds like works-based theology. Okay, well, you should take that up with Jesus because he's the one that said it. Oh, wow. Yep. Oops. And this dog and pony show of fake Christianity at the executive levels of the American government is disgusting. It's disgusting. Don't pander to me. Maybe it works on some people. It doesn't work on me. Don't pander to me. You're not one of us. They've never been one of us. I mean, in a certain regard, I guess maybe I should be comforted in the fact that I'm returning to familiar territory. I grew up so poor that if I wanted to eat meat, I had to walk around in the woods with a gun until I found some. Cool. I know how to do that. I know how to grow potatoes. I have friends. I have family. I have the creator of the universe and a personal relationship with him by the blood of his son, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. This is not unfamiliar territory for me, but it pisses me off nonetheless, because when I was a young man who ate meat due to the smoking barrel of my gun, I didn't have a wife and kids that I was biblically commanded to provide an inheritance to, and I do now. And I didn't have 47 families that were dependent upon my efforts in part to feed themselves, and I do now. And this pandering executive level bullshit in the federal government is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Do not smile at me while you bend me over. So, Nick, I'm stressed too. Maybe this is what stress looks like to y'all. I'll tell you this. Can't give you all the details, but Caleb House did a thing this morning, and it was freaking amazing. Great job, field team. When I have approval for a press release, I'll give you some details, but suffice it to say, last night on Patreon's live stream, when I asked y'all to pray for the field team, those prayers were successful, and the field team kicked a shit ton of ass because they're amazing human beings that are forsaking not the widow and the orphan. And so bad things happen to bad people, and we're at the beginning of good things happening to good people in the restoration process. So, like, am I stressed? Maybe this is just a side of Bear y'all haven't seen in a while. I'm intense because intense is required given the current circumstances. Because it's do or die for me on this side of the camera right now. And if that's going to be the case, if we're going to have a fight, even if I'm going down swinging, because I owe that to my family. I owe that to my people. I'm not just going to roll over and die. I don't have that in me. And so I'm not stressed, bro. I'm intense because I still have customers and clients to service. Praise the Most High. I still have opportunities presenting themselves even this very moment. Praise the Most High. I still have a team of badass, amazing people. I still have manufacturing capability. I still have the blessing of the creator of the universe. All these things are available to me, and all I got to do is assemble the puzzle pieces correctly. And I intend to. I'm not dead yet, and I don't intend to die. I'm just pissed that the environment that we were promised when we pulled the lever doesn't exist. That's what I'm pissed about. And I'm pissed that people who have the leisure to say, trust the plan and give it time, don't understand the real world effects of sitting around and waiting for something to happen is having on good people. And so rather than waiting for something to happen, we make it happen. You see that right there behind me? Make it happen. And so we are in full-blown make it happen mode right now. And that's maybe why I look a little bit different than what you're used to seeing. Because it's intense time. And if we don't steward with intensity the opportunities that have been presented, you know what? We won't have these problems in 30 days. I can start making some hippy-dippy homestead content. Hey guys, let's go see if the turkeys laid any eggs this morning. Gobble, gobble. It's so great to see you. Hello, Mr. Turkey. Yeah, that's not me. Any of y'all who have been here for any length of time, you guys know that that's not me. I don't have that bone in my body. Exodus 15, verse 3. Yahweh is a warrior. Yahweh is his name. And we are all fearfully and wonderfully created in his image. And you have to fight for the things that matter. And my family and my people matter to me. And they're not going to go without because I didn't do my part. Simple as that. And the part that I'm having to do now is different than the part that I was promised on November 5th. And that pisses me off because we're commanded to let our yes be yes and our no be no. And that's why patronizing me from the Oval Office doesn't work. It just pisses me off. Don't pretend you're one of us because you're not. Do your job. Do what I hired you to do. Simple as that. That's the show. We should probably pray. You know how I know we should pray? I don't want to. And that's always a clear indicator. Oh, Father Yahweh. Father, thank you for allowing us to wake up today. Father, thank you for putting a call on each one of our lives to walk in the model of Messiah per 1 Peter 2:21. Father Yahweh, let us bend but not break. Give us strength and resolve and power and authority that is inexplicable. Father, bring us peace and comfort that surpasses all understanding. Give us this day our daily bread. Please provide for us miraculously. Let the manna fall from the heavens and tell us where to find it. Father, let us serve you with our works. Let our hands and our feet be yours. Put us where you need us to be. Give us the words that we need to speak. And allow us to serve you in spirit and truth as the ultimate form of worship. Father, yeah, all these people within the sound of my voice, I pray that you'd provide for them. And I know that you will miraculously, because you are a good, good Father, and that you inexplicably love us. And I thank you for that. I thank you for the fact that you inexplicably love us. And not because we are good, but because you are so good that Yeshua atoned for our sins upon the stake and made a way for us to come home again. Father Yah, please absolve us of our sins as we confess them to you. Let us build trust in you. Be near to us. Teach us further how to walk in your ways. Forgive us when we fail to do so. Please continue to smile upon us. Let all those who are in the storm's paths today be safe, be spared. Father Yah, tell us where to go when they need help. Father, give us endurance. So many of my brothers and sisters are smoked. We're just exhausted from serving you. So let the exhaustion not be demoralizing, but let it be uplifting, that we have spent our life in a worthy cause to serve you to the best of our ability. Father, please pour out your spirit on these people for strength, for discernment, for wisdom, for healing. Father, for conviction. Father Yahweh, thank you. We love you, even as you inexplicably love us. I ask these things in Yeshua's name. Amen. Well, I don't know what happened, but apparently the stream died during the prayer. And I don't know. I don't know if it all got out there or not. Those of you who have been here for a while will recognize this in me. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. And this is not what stressed me looks like. This is me having to do things that I don't want to do. And that's okay. And it'll be okay. And I know Dad's in control. I know that. I don't believe that. I know it. Me in the flesh. I don't like this season we're in. But it's not about whether I like it or not, is it? It's not. It's not about whether I like it at all. It's about Yah's will be done. And I will break myself against the rocks if it means the people I love are protected and provided for. And that's the part I don't like. I don't like existential threats to those that I love. It makes me very bearish Imagine that. So, this too shall pass. Bitachon, Yah is in control. And listen, find a helmet, turn your ham radio on. There's tornadoes in the forecast. The chaos, y'all. Praise Yah. The field team did amazing work yesterday. That's what we need to be thankful about. I'll see y'all when I see you. Shalom.